We now begin a series of lectures on defenses. And at the outset, it's important to make the point that defense and maintenance are different things, but they both originated in homeostatic mechanisms. They evolved as modifications of normal physiology. And a take-home point for all of the discussion of defense is that evolution will tolerate high costs and will permit significant vulnerabilities if it can thereby gain major benefits. And that is the reason that all associated with every defense mechanism, there is a disease. So to distinguish between homeostasis, maintenance, and defense. Homeostasis is the stability of key variables in cells, tissues, and organisms that's controlled by feedback mechanisms. Most maintenance and defense mechanisms were evolutionarily derived by modifying homeostatic functions. Maintenance mechanisms sustain normal function by preventing, repairing, and reducing malfunctions that are byproducts of normal physiology. Defense mechanisms, on the other hand, protect against specific hostile environmental perturbations that exceed homeostatic capacity. So if we look at that in the form of a diagram, we can start with developmental and physiological processes. They are affected by hostile environmental factors, and they are regulated by homeostasis. They produce deleterious byproducts of physiology and development, and the hostile environmental factors can produce tissue deterioration, malfunction, and damage, as well as the normal processes. So defense interferes with the hostile environmental factors. Hostile environmental factors interfere with normal development and physiology. Maintenance interferes with tissue deterioration and malfunction. So you can see that defense, maintenance, and homeostasis are conceptually separated. Here's an example that makes concrete these three processes. Homeostasis is regulating protein concentration in a cell by synthesis and degradation. Maintenance mechanisms are detecting and clearing damaged proteins. Viruses are detected by the innate immune system, which induces an antiviral defense. Defenses, however, operate at the expense of homeostasis. During viral infection, protein synthesis shuts down. Defense increases the concentration of damaged proteins, which are then handled by maintenance mechanisms. So maintenance contributes to the tolerance component of defense, and the mechanisms that eliminate the virus represent the resistance component of defense. So there is a relationship between this level of physiological analysis and the distinction between tolerance and resistance. Now, there are two types of maintenance. There's constitutive and inducible maintenance. So here again, we can start with the developmental and physiological processes that are generating byproducts and tissue deterioration. The constitutive maintenance processes are those that are handling the byproducts of normal development and physiology. The hostile environmental factors, including pathogens, are producing deleterious effects at the physiological level, and they are being dealt with by inducible maintenance programs. The constitutive maintenance programs complement homeostasis, and the inducible programs complement defense. Here are some examples of constitutive maintenance mechanisms. The removal of damaged proteins and lipids. So in aging, that leads to neurodegeneration. The detoxification and disposal of metabolic waste products. So with aging, when that breaks down, you get liver and kidney insufficiency and disease. The clearance of damaged extracellular proteins. With aging, that leads to tissue degeneration. Tissue renewal by stem cells. With aging, if that is not done properly, there is cancer and other diseases. The maintenance of homeostatic mechanisms. If that breaks down, then aging can lead to type 2 diabetes and osteoporosis. The maintenance of tissues that are needed for defense, which includes, of course, the immune system, if that breaks down, then with aging we have increased susceptibility to infections. Examples of inducible maintenance mechanisms, those that are reacting to environmental hostilities, have the characteristic that when they're deployed, normal maintenance mechanisms ramp up to support them. These include responses to starvation, cold, dehydration, and hypoxia. All of these are eroded by aging. And in some organisms, there is hibernation, estivation, dour larvae, sporulation, lowered metabolic rate, less need for oxygen, food, and water, better protection of organs and tissues, and better resistance to stress, greater tolerance of damage, and changed homeostatic set points. So those would all be radical restructurings of underlying physiology to deal with unavoidable environmental stress. If we contrast inducible and constitutive processes, we see that constitutive maintenance operates all the time. It doesn't trade off with growth or reproduction within a single organism. Constitutive maintenance is not trading off with growth and reproduction. Inducible maintenance responds to hostile challenges to promote survival while it reduces growth and reproduction. Reduced maintenance compromises both homeostasis and defense. Both need to be maintained. At the population level, however, maintenance will trade off with growth and reproduction if it is negatively genetically correlated. So this statement is about physiological trade-offs, and this statement is about evolutionary and genetically based trade-offs. Defenses that are only needed on demand and that have high costs have evolved to be inducible, so the immune responses are inducible. Defenses that are always needed are constitutive. That includes barrier defenses such as skin. To summarize, homeostasis, maintenance, and defense are intimately related. Maintenance and defense mechanisms are extensions of homeostasis mechanisms, and they are often evolutionarily derived from them. That's important because it means that maintenance and defense mechanisms bring with their evolutionary heritage the advantages and the vulnerabilities of that evolutionary heritage. Homeostasis, maintenance, and defense all have both constitutive and inducible components. Whether the constitutive or inducible mode of operation evolves depends on the demand and the cost.